Company. It's simple. It's the organization that's going to do it different than anybody else. The reason why is because we're about the kids. We're about the individual athletes that come through the facility and trying to make a difference in their life and prepare them for a future where they can have the skills, the mindset, the mentality to do damage in this lifetime, where they can affect other people positively. They know how to adapt through adversity, and they're just strong individuals, strong core people. In this world that's just tough because there's a lot of failure. The game of baseball and softball, ton of failure, ton of team building, ton of individual skill set development. I mean, there's so much in the game that just teaches you about life, and it's a beautiful thing, And so the Back Company is just your place where we help try to train and enhance and help grow you as an individual, so you can be a betterment to the team, so you can go through adversity and find strength and resilience and create a mindset that's unbreakable. And when I started this thing 11 years ago, it was under different circumstances. I had to provide for my family, and through the game of baseball, you just don't tuck tail and run and quit. Right when things get tough, you go to work, you start to grind, and that's basically what I did. I didn't have a college education, I didn't have any fallback plan, and so I was getting out. I had to start going to work, and so I decided to start working with kids, which I have a passion for, and start busting out as many lessons as possible, and then from there it grew. I met somebody, I networked, I people recommended, and now here we're at. We got 18 teams, we got 12 softball, we got 6 baseball, we have a full training facility, we have a turf field in back, right? And so now what do? Now I got to go out and we got to get other coaches that have the same mentality as I do, and that's the fact that we're just trying to get everybody better, try to create a positive, safe environment where they can grow, they can learn to get tough, and we can hold them accountable. And but it takes a special mentor and to be able to provide that, and that's what we're fighting for at the BC here, and we have some good leadership at the top. The leadership's going to trickle on down and filter all the way down into our athletes, and the thing is, man, we have some awesome kids that I'm going to fight for. All right, this is an attempt to get everything that's going on in my head down on a video, eventually turn this into a PowerPoint presentation that I can share with people and the masses, because the biggest thing that I need to do is I really want to rebrand the company. I need a new mission statement and new goals for the near future that we can set and accomplish and execute. The business has just changed dramatically. I started this thing, 11 years ago, and the whole goal at that time was to provide financially for my family, because what happened was when I got out of baseball in 2004, I started a construction company with my brother-in-law. Things were going good, and I was starting a new career there. But as everybody kind of went through, the market kind of crashed, and that whole career path took a turn for the worse. So left me at a crossroads. Is like, hey, what am I going to do to provide income for my family? And I was, I signed out of high school, so I didn't have college as my background. So I knew one thing is that I love kids. I love working with them. I love to motivate, inspire. I love to train. I love to train kids and get them better. And so I just took a space up in my dad's warehouse. My brother ran the business at the time. I put a cage up in between some racking. It was a bootleg cage. I had just power cords going to these lights and floodlights, and anyways, it worked. I had a bucket of balls, and I just put it out there that I'm going to be starting doing lessons. It was called Ackerman's Baseball Academy at the time. Internet was just fresh, so getting the word out was tough. So but at that time, my business plan was to charge $35 for an hour, give the best lesson I possibly could. I always ran way over the hour, and I gave the best lesson and poured my heart and soul in that lesson, hoping that I would get a referral, and they would recommend me to somebody, and then I would gain my clientele. And that's how this whole thing started out, was back then, and the situation was, and so the story and the backdrop is just my passion for kids. Now, that hasn't changed. Our business model has changed, and so we're going to have to get back to the roots of where we even started, because we can get carried away, and we can lose sense of what this thing was all meant to be about, So one thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of break it down what's going on in my head in the simplest form I can. So right here, we have these little clouds. Back goes in the center. We have our mission at the top. We have baseball, softball, our teams. We have training. We have the facility as itself, and then we have recruiting. And I kind of broke it down into 6 parts. So we'll talk about each one. Okay, so the about us, the mission, and the goal. This one's probably the most important for me because it's why we do it, right? So about us. The thing is that I just did the math, and we have played as a back company's, in a back company uniform, there's been over 7,000 games played in the club baseball and softball circuit. I have done over 10,000 personal individual lessons, okay? And so now we're only going to get bigger and stronger, more teams, more lessons, and the biggest thing is like my goal is to make that now is our new business plan. And so how do we make that better? In order to make that better, I want to go way back and start about talk about where I came from, how this all got started, and then the transition to where we're at now. Now we have 18 teams. We have 3-4 trainers in there. We have lots of coaches. Blah blah blah. But it's been a long journey to get where we're at, and a hard journey. It's been an expensive journey. A lot of stress, a lot of heartache. And the financial burden. But man, we've had some amazing kids run through there. Amazing relationships. We've had some bad relationships with people. And it just is youth sports. It's emotional. So anyways, all right, here's the story. Started out in an aisle in a warehouse. I took up 1 cage. My first lesson came in after seeing us kind of on the internet. The Olsons, Bill Olson was his name, Kellen and Braden were my first lesson. And we just started working together, and obviously they enjoyed it. They got better. And Bill recommended me to a few other people. So what happened is that was going well, and I was working full time, whatever I can during the day. And then I'd go there at night and try to give the best lesson I possibly can and on the weekends. And that's always a grind when you got to do double dip and do whatever you can to make it. So thankfully things were going well, and then talking to my dad and my brother, they said, hey, let's put up a bigger cage and take up more of a section. So it was I wish I had pictures of it, but I don't. But I took in the back corner, I built a cage with 2x6s, anchor bolts, and a net and turf, and we rolled out. It was a pretty sweet cage. Had music back there. The lighting was horrible, the balls were horrible, but at the end of the day, it was an awesome place to take BP, get better, train, and that was going. Then that went really well. So during that time, I was doing lessons out of there, and I was doing also lessons with an awesome mentor of mine named Randy Brock. Randy Brock is going to be he is in the Hall of Fame for high school coaching. He also was the industry leader of doing lessons back in the 90s when I was going to him for lessons down at Woodburn Grand Slam. And, I was doing, as I was building my own, I was also working under Randy and just kind of getting my name back out there that I'm doing lessons and working with people and different things like that. And so doing that, I met an awesome family named the Marsh family. Chad and Dina Marsh, and neat people. And also they have 2 boys. Tanner and Austin are their names. And I was working with Tanner and Austin when they were like 8 and 10. Now they're both in college. Austin's graduated from college. And what we did is Chad always had a dream, and, he always wanted to do something with baseball. He loved the game of baseball and everything, and he liked the way it trained, so we decided to team up. Well, that's where the bat company came. What we decided to do is we were going to do hold on, I'm going to get sidetracked here. All right. And so anyways, we decided to make the Bat Company. So the Bat Company, the reason why it's called the Bat Company is because we were going to do an online business and sell retail. At the time, DeMarini was going to open us up, but they decided to back out of it as a vendor, and Easton decided to open us up as an online store. I'll save the details of the whole thing, but the idea was we're going to have a store and then also do the training. And with the store and everything, there were so many obstacles. First of all, you need to know your SEO, website design. There's so many logistical things that we just weren't prepared for having an online store. But hey, we're going to sell bats, so hey, there's the name, the Bat Company, where it came from. Now, what we did is after we opened up our own little store on 95th in Wilsonville, we had a little storefront up front, and then we had a big cage in the back. And that's kind of when the Bat Company really began, and where the heart and soul, the heartbeat started, I guess is where it was. And man, going back to some of those times, they were great times. The overhead was cheap. I think it was like $1,200 a month. But we were starting to get our little store going, and the training started going. Now with that, what we did is we started building our structure, right? And with the training is I was still doing my individual lessons, but what Chad was very involved with JBO, which is your local baseball organizations. And what we did was we created teams outside of your JBO, and we would go to 4 or 5 tournaments and we'd dominate. We didn't lose for like 5 years during this model because we took everybody's best kids. This is when the club world wasn't really going strong. There wasn't as many players in the game, all this other stuff. So we were an industry leader in this new adventure. And so things were going good, and we were growing, and so what happened is in Wilsonville, we decided that we needed a bigger facility. So, we went to a place in Tualatin. Awesome memories there. We went from 1 cage, and now we were able to have 2 cages. And so, with the 2 cages, it just created us to do some more things. We added a little bit more teams. We started adding a little bit more trainers. And, but at that Tualatin moment, we realized that the store side of things was not going to work. And the retail side was down. You can't compete with Dick's and these other things. And, unless you're manufacturing something, it was tough to do the online stuff. So what we did was we decided to leave Tualatin, and I found an awesome place. It's the current Bat Company facility now. Yeah, it was on Craigslist. Awesome people that own it are Ken and Barbie. It's kind of funny, but they're the neatest people. And so we decided to move there. And through that, this is our 6th year in that place. Obviously I've remodeled that thing 500 times. Always trying to figure out every little inch of that space to be operable, to get stuff done for revenue generating purposes and stuff. And so once we moved to the new facility, we obviously put in the turf field in the back and everything. And we don't need to go too far into how we got there, because through the transition of all those facilities and everything, financially, just stress, emotion, everything, man, to say it's been hard is not even, you can't express it, but for this purposes, putting it down in like in an About Us section in the Bat Company, we don't need to talk about it. But what happened is that we just went to work, right? I met some awesome people at this time. When we moved to the new facility, we met Michelle Theory, who is my counterpart in this, especially with softball. Poured her heart and soul into training the kids, want to be a part of what we're doing. And now she's financially crazy invested. Works her butt off at Nike, and then comes and pours her heart and soul into the Bat Company and the kids. And generally, she's the heartbeat of the facility along with myself. And with that being said, is the reason why we're coming up with this new mission is because you got to go to the core. And through the process of going from Milwaukee 1 cage to now the big facility that we do have, the heartbeat hasn't changed. The soul is where we're at, and we got to get back to that. with adding some logistics in our new business plan, And so I'm being random, but the thing is that, with meeting Michelle, and we also met another character named Garrett Patterson, who loves the train, awesome dude, and his knowledge of the game, knowledge of training and motivating kids is at a very high level. And so with these new components, we were able to go bigger. And so we decided to go all year round teams in full training, and I was able to, be doing this full time and start paying myself to be there, And so it's just been an emotional ride, to get to where we're at, And so the biggest thing now is like what we are trying to do is get back to the core, but our business plan is changed dramatically. We are now 100% about the traveling teams, and we're about training, and we're about recruiting. And so we're going to attempt to create a new mission statement. And so that's going to be important. So new mission statement, what I wrote down could sound similar to this. And I'll be working with people to figure this out. So the game of baseball and softball can be an amazing tool in an athlete's journey of discovering their best self. Bat Company offers athletes a safe place where, through skill development, team relationships, high expectations, and positive psychology, players will grow their resiliency, confidence, and ability to become the best athlete the best athlete and person they can be. We also need to talk about how in our mission we're going to provide competition, high-level competition teams. And Michelle Theory wrote an awesome recommendation letter that we're going to pull from. And we have some other really amazing recommendation letters that we need to do. So with our new mission, we're going to have a new mission statement. It used to be we're going to make the game of baseball and softball as fun, get better. Now it's almost going to get more in depth of really trying to provide an amazing experience for the families who entrust us with their kids. And some key words that go along with the mission statement would be relationships, building strength, trust, confidence, inspire, life lessons. Baseball is a tool, softball is a tool, using the game and the love of the game, skill set to succeed, and building character. Those are kind of some stuff I just came up with as far as some things that we can do on mission, as far as our mission statement. Why are we here? Because we got to get back to the core of Batco. Now with the mission and goals right here, boom. So our goals are simply this, okay? We are going to have competitive softball teams right here, okay? We are going to have competitive baseball teams right here. You can see baseball teams, okay? Then we got to talk about recruiting, okay? We got to talk about training, okay, because that's going to be a huge amount. And then we also got to talk about the facility. Each one of those offshoots have goals, okay? For baseball, our goal is to have 9U, 10U, 11U, 12U, 13, one team at each age, where they're the highest competitive team we can with the best non-parent coaches we can provide. That would be 6 teams, and we don't want more than 6 teams because our facility can't handle it. We want the very best 6 teams we can. We will financially charge more as our product gets better. So with baseball, our goal is to get the highest competitive kids, build their character, build their skill set, build their mentality, and also provide what we would call a great experience for them. Our goal for softball is to have a first year 10, second year 10, first year 12, second year 12, first year 14, second year 14, first year 16. Okay, we can probably go into a second year 16, first year 18, and then our 18 gold high, most recruited top tier team. Now, the thing is with the softball right now, we are going to start with Michelle's Theories team at 16U, and we are going to go down because that is where the heart and soul and what we're going to put most of our energy and effort into building, and we're going to breed up the talent. Okay, but we will have 2 franchise teams. We'll probably have Eric Benson and Tracy Pemberington's team as franchise. I love those kids, and so what we'll do is we'll franchise them out. They'll look like us, and they'll do everything, but I'll let them carry out. I'll have a second 18U team. That will be for your kids that just want to play softball that we can provide a facility for. We'll have my team. And then I will sit at the top of the 18 gold softball world with Michelle. But our energy and focus for this next year will be Michelle Theory's 16U team on down. Yes, we'll take care of the older girls, but our whole heart and soul program, development, skill set, mentality, and strength is going to go that level and down, because that's where our strength is going to be. So going forward, we are going to have the same age group of kids going out. We are going to have paid coaches at each level. Eventually, we're going to interview and get good coaches for each level. So for softball, we're going to want to be the highest competitive teams, and we're going to want to compete in PGF, and then we're going to get into this USA, USSSA Elite Select opportunity also. And so that's the goal for the softball program and skill development. Okay, now as far as the training goes, Michelle Theory and Scott Ackerman will only do very minimal training. We are going to be the head of the organization and oversee everything. So basically with the training, there's going to be Landon Frost, who's an independent trainer who does both baseball, softball. There's going to be Garrett Patterson, who only does baseball. And then there's going to be Shelby Maurerman, who's going to do only softball. And Michelle and Scott are going to oversee the training that is going on there. And also, Michelle and Scott are going to be doing all the training of all the teams. And we're going to be coaching the trainers, and we're going to be coaching the coaches as far as the training programs go. One thing that Scott Ackerman and Michelle Thier are going to do is going to create a very high-level brand of training. When I say minimal training, this is what it's going to be. It's going to be called basically Sasquatch training. And the thing about Sasquatch training is obviously it's a kind of a brand that I'm going to do that's a part of the back company. It's basically doing, it's just foreign, because it's going to be the kids that are willing to do what it takes to get to where they want to go. Now, in today's world, that's tough, to find with all the distractions and stuff. But we do have kids in our facility that want to play very high-level high school softball, and they also want to play high-level college softball. So with Sasquatch training, we are going to push the bar. We're going to hold them accountable to be high-character kids, high academic kids, and then we're going to train hard, and they're going to be basically all in, and I'm going to create, and with Michelle, we're going to create that mentality of training. And it's not that it's going to be an exclusive group you can't get in. It's just simple. You're going to earn your way into that group. It's open to anybody who would want to pay the price to be there. And it has nothing to do with financial gains or who's willing to pay or whatnot. It's simply for kids that want to, work to get to where they want to be. Now, the next part is going to be, as far as our goals, is recruiting. We are going to have a website that does handle material. We're going to have videos and information of the girls and the boys. But I'm going to make it clear that recruiting is about relationships. It's about the relationships Michelle and I can create with college coaches in the area, with scouts in the area, and just other people that have just knowledge of recruiting. I do believe it's crazy false advertising out there. I think it's a money grab. I think there's a lot of things. At the back company, we're going to be very honest with kids. We're going to be very honest with coaches. We're going to do what we can to get them, where they want to go, and we're going to help in that process. Yes, our website will be simple, and it can guide people there. But at the end of the day, it's about the relationships we build with the college coach and everything. And the stronger our program is as a team and teams and as a facility, coaches will come to us by the product we have, and I will be able to share with them what kids we have and what interests we have. But it's going to be on us to create a recruiting program where we can help steer and guide the families and the kids to do a lot of the legwork, and we can point them in the right direction as far as recruiting goes. The kids are going to get themselves recruited by putting in the time and the sacrifices they make, and parents can help that by the way their just involvement is. So that's our goal, is to anybody who wants to get to college and play softball, baseball, we are going to find the place for them, but it's also going to be very realistic of where their skill set belongs, and also where they belong academically. Sports aren't everything to everybody, and I totally get that because I got a chance to play at a high level, but I also understand how important school is. So we're going to get them set up for their career down the road. As far as the recruiting goes, so we're going to take all aspects into consideration there. Then our last goal is the facility. So we have an opportunity to buy the property in 3 years, and so that's going to be our goal. Our goal is to buy it and to make that thing a financially revenue-producing business. And our goal is to be able to purchase it, to own the 2 houses in the front. Also to have that thing remodeled on the inside where it's extremely clean, is extremely organized, and very functional for the stuff that we need to get out of there. So we will build our business around the facility. Some things that we need to do for the facility is we need a fence around the field. We need a big dugout / shed for our outdoor equipment for people to stand under, and for our for the outdoor stuff. Inside the facility, we got to finish the weight room, and we got to make sure the slides are operable, and we need to make sure our bathroom is extremely clean with, supplies, and then our offices are clean, and our team room, and everything is safe, everything is functional, and we have enough equipment to provide the highest level of training. So our goal is to get our facility immaculate and professional. So when people come in there, they're blown away about what we have. And so that's going to be our goals for the upcoming thing. So mission, goals, everything. Kind of went through each little branch we talked about. Okay, the number one. Let's dive into it. So our number one priority at the back company, outside of our mission and our core, is our teams, baseball and softball, competitive traveling teams. To say that we're at a crossroads right now is an understatement. The biggest thing that we need to do is we need to find coaches who believe in the back company philosophy that can sprinkle down amongst their players. What we have right now is we have parent coaches, we have people that are set in their ways, and a family that is paying the team fee for both sides have an expectation of what they're going to get for their money. And what they believe they should be getting through the back company and what we've created, they are not getting. And so this is what causes me stress. This is what causes me to not sleep. This is what causes me anxiety. A through Z, this is the biggest problem at the back company right now, is that we are not providing a great experience for every single kid that comes to the back company, and that kills me. Because that's the reason why I started this thing. That's the reason why I'm in it. But here's the deal. I have a ton of energy and effort for this stuff. I love the kids at the end of the day, and I have a passion to make this happen. So let's get to the meat and potatoes of why they are not having a great experiences. The thing is that right now we are trying to put Band-Aids on all this other stuff. And so we need to rebrand the company according to creating this great experience for kids. It is going to be this. it is going to be Scott Ackerman, Michelle Theory, Kevin Kaplan at the very top, Director of Operations Braden handling logistics. It's going to be us at the top, the core. Okay? It is going to trickle down into our coaches. Okay? Coaching is everything. Coaches need to be able to learn from what we've created and work together, and then sprinkle down, like I said, amongst the teams. Okay, so the number one thing is that we got to talk about our coaches. Okay, and so I put together. All right, back. Okay, coaches. I wrote this down for coaches. This is some stuff about what our coaches need to be. All right. The back company considers coaching to be the most important position in the organization. They have the greatest opportunity to make a positive, lasting impact in our athletes. Therefore, the back company is extremely selective when hiring coaches. This is what makes the back company organization so special. Coaching position description. Coaches are either assigned to a team. The back company creates that team, and then it's on the coach to provide that great experience for that team. Coaches are responsible for this: holding tryouts and selecting players along with the back company staff, managing the team roster administratively and also on the field, help the back company establish a budget and holding to that budget, physically coaching the team, on-field game management, helping with the back company staff to create tournament schedule and also practice schedule, registering for tournaments through softball. We got ASA, Triple Crown, PGF, use Triple SA. They are going to be responsible for registering all that, making sure all the logistics are taken care of, scheduling practices and running practices, and then enforcing the back company policies and procedures, which we've created. And then communication is a key through parents and the players on that, and expectations. Okay. They are also, this is what a coach is not required to do. They are not going to be collecting any money. They're not going to be handling uniforms. They're not going to be handling schedule of travel. They're not going to do any bookkeeping. Coaches are not going to do any player registration, and any parent communication as far as being upset or emotional, that is going to be done with me. They don't need to manage the website, and they don't need to buy any equipment or gear. That's not going to be on the coach to do that. Now, the ideal coach candidate for us. The ideal coach has an extensive and successful background in baseball or softball, a strong understanding of the game at a high level, or is willing to learn. He has a strong leadership skills, or she or he is an effective communicator and has the ability to teach the game, an ability to manage many types of people and athletes. He or she has a strong personal interest in developing young men and women first, and the game of baseball or softball second. Is passionate and full of energy, and most importantly, wants to build a meaningful relationship with his players and the parents that are involved, hence making it a great experience for them. This is a way that, so I want to create an application. The application would be simple. It would be basically, we'll just create an application for name, and then why you coach. And then basically a resume to coach, and let's build that and have people fill that out, and then send the back up, and we can sift through, and then we'll have interviews. Some other things about coaching real quick. We need coaches by August. We want to have all of our coaches set before our August tryout. Our action plan to get coaches is through social media and our website, and word of mouth, letting people know we do that. And then we also need to create, so for the back company staff, we need to create what is our description. When you coach, this is what the expectations are, and then we'll have coaches trainings where Michelle and I will actually coach our coaches, along with Garrett with skill development. Then that way they're held accountable to us. And so that's the biggest thing as far as our coaching and what we need to do to provide. That's our biggest concern right now at the back company, is getting our coaches under that same page. So creating that. And so that will be my biggest focus this year going forward, and our new rebranding is going to be, we have non-parent coaches, and that we pay our coaches and they are held accountable to a very high standard, and that's going to be the goal for us kind of going forward. Now, as far as that's kind of the general purposes of our teams and what we're going to do with the branding. Now, here's the other deal. With rebranding the teams, like one thing that we have potential to do is we want to team up with Nike, baseball, softball, to provide the best apparel and footwear. And we want to get the best deal possible on that. And then the other thing is I really want to team up with a vendor. So we have an opportunity like with Marucci. So we'd be head-to-toe equipment in Marucci, get the best deal, but also get incentives for wearing that brand. But it also help us set us apart that we're just taken serious by a national vendor, because they see the strength of our team. They see how competitive we are with our teams. They want to be around our coaches. They want to be around us as people, because, obviously their brand wants to represent high-level people who compete, but also are these high-level character themselves. So with that being said, that kind of is the part of the teams that we need to do. Now, the only other thing that I really want to talk about and really focus on is the idea of that we all work together as a family. I know the bickering back and forth between trainers, between coaches, it just needs to be done. And so the reason why I created this is to have an environment where kids can grow. They just find out who they are. And through baseball and softball, we're going to be able to do this, and also training, because we train a lot of kids that are outside of our teams. And so we need to provide this experience for them. And so I'm going to hold the trainers, myself, coaches, everybody's going to be accountable to stick to the core and the heartbeat of why the Bat Company is what it is, and pull this off. And so we're going to upgrade the facility. Okay, we're going to go out and we're going to get coaches. Everybody's going to step up their game and learn and get better themselves. And then, like I said, and then the last thing we need to do is with the recruiting and the website, and just making sure all the information is where it needs to be. But we're also going to go out and build relationships with the people that we can. So when it comes to recruiting and everything like that, we can provide the development we need for these kids to play softball or baseball at the next level as possible. So anyways, that will get us started on a PowerPoint presentation of what we need to do. All right, thank you. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is as far as we're going to have some very high-level athletes in the facility. They're young, but they're going to be our top-tier Division I players, and they're also going to be our draft eligible candidates. We have a couple of them, and with kind of the Sasquatch training model and the elite crew, it's for these high-level players. So I need them to, I'm going to be personally going out and getting business sponsorships, for the Bat Company. If you want to sponsor us, or businesses want to be a part of what we're doing, they're going to be able to do that. We need to put together a marketing tool for that. The other thing is that we also got to go out and we got to get these kids better. So I want to be able to travel with them to their showcase events, get them on the best teams possible for the least financial burden for these families. I want them to have high-level success at these showcases, and then also be talking to agents, scouts in the area, and be able to help improve these guys' draft status. With that comes a ton of money. Going to Florida multiple times and Arizona to play in these showcases is not going to be an easy expense for the families or for myself to get there. But me being there, I can make the athlete better, can help them improve at the showcase, but also I have an understanding of how they did, and so I can talk to people afterwards, and then just creating, just helping them get to better rankings, because it's controlled by a rankings market. With our softball, we have some girls that are going to be going D1 to Pac-12 schools or SEC schools, ACC, Big 12 schools, and so we need to create those relationships also. It's just going to, and so our athletes are when they step on campus, they can compete for a job. And so this is a very high level thing. So I need to go out and get money to provide this. I need to be there and create a program where if you're a very high level athlete, I can help you get to where you want to go, or even with the draft, get you high selected out of the draft. And we have a couple guys that are going to be up for that. So that is another facet of this rebranding, is because now some of our young athletes are getting to the point of some very high level opportunity that we need to make sure that we can provide and create.